She was quiet, unnoticed, and used to living in the shadows. He was ruthless, feared, and the billionaire everyone talked about. But when a shy waitress crosses paths with the city's coldest tycoon, it doesn't just change her life. It melts the beast hiding behind his billion-dollar smile. This isn't just a love story. It's a battle between silence and power, heart and pride. Welcome to The Shy Beauty and the Billionaire Beast.
Third person's PNT of view. Order up for table 3. Good afternoon, my name is Lisa, and I will be your waitress for this afternoon. Pick up order 319. Waitress needed on table 5. Order up for table 7. That was just a taste of rush hour at Luigi's, one of the most popular cafes in New Jersey. Given that it was summer vacation, the place was packed with families and teenagers looking to get a quick bite to eat. Working long shifts at Luigi's didn't seem long at all in summer. Being on your feet from the moment you walked through that door till it was time to call it a night. Luigi's keeps up a pretty stable group of lower and middle class customers, and every once in a blue moon, a celebrity would pop in, but nothing too eventful. It was always the same old 9 to 5. Anas PNT of view. Hey Harry, how's the old man and you doing today? I greeted one of our veterans with a smile. Same old Anna, he chuckled. Let me guess, you'll have the usual? I replied with a slight chuckle. Did you even have to ask? He replied. Then with one last smile, I turned to go place in his order. I was standing at the cashier when 5 gentlemen made their way into the cafe, and everything went quiet. Tony, our manager, noticed the change in atmosphere and looked up from his position behind the counter to see what was happening. The gentleman walked straight for a table, the furthest from the crowd, and sat down without a word. Tony cleared his throat and signaled for everyone to get back to work. I looked over at the gentleman, and my eyes were instantly met with 2 pairs of dark blue eyes, and the minute our eyes met, I looked away. I placed in Harry's order, just as Tony made his way over to the gentleman. As I moved around the cafe, cleaning tables and taking orders, the men only ordered drinks. They spoke quietly among themselves for a while, then got up and left, leaving a $100 bill to cover their expenses. The minute they walked out the door, the lively aura returned, and soon enough those strange gentlemen were forgotten. Time galloped away, and eventually, Lisa and I were walking out of Luigi's. Hey, the guys and I are going out for a few drinks, want to join us? Offered Lisa. I smiled but kindly declined. No. Okay, thank you. Oh, come on, Anna. Eventually you're going to have to step out of your shell and actually socialize with other people, groaned Lisa. I do socialize with other people. I quickly defended myself. Okay. Saying rehearsed lines to customers every day is not socializing, nor is screaming at the characters on your television screen. Seriously, Anna, you're a beautiful girl. You know, Jose has a crush on you, but every time he tries to talk to you, you run away. You have to stop being so shy and strange. Spoke Lisa. I hear you, trust me, I do, and I'll try, just not tonight, okay? I'm tired, I replied, feeling kind of down. All right. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow, okay? Said Lisa, as she placed a kiss on my cheek. Then she turned and left. The minute she was gone, I sighed and headed for my car. She was right. I needed to stop being so shy. If only there was a way to get over my shyness, become confident and bold. If only I could find the balls to walk around with my head high, flirt with this guy, and finally accept a date. Oh, I only wish. With a shake of my head and slight chuckle, I started my car and headed home, for a comfortable night of hot chocolate and late-night comedy shows. The next day, I headed to work bright and early, ready to see what the day had in store for me. It was a normal day, filled with regulars and generous tips. I was having a conversation with Harry when once again the gentlemen from the day before made their way into the cafe, except this time their group was down to 3. It once again ran quiet, as they made their way to the furthest table. I excused myself from my previous conversation, and made my way to Tony, who signaled me over. Once I reached him, he smiled and said, Hey, you mind taking their orders for me? I have a few arrangements to take care of. Oh no, Tony, no, you know I'm comfortable with regulars. I don't know these people, and you're sending me to take their orders? I asked, suddenly freaking out. You'll be fine, just introduce yourself, like you've done 1,000,000 times, and ask if they would like anything," advised Tony. "So you're sending me to make a fool of myself?" I asked, feeling my face heat up. "Do this for me, and a fresh batch of oatmeal raisin cookies will be waiting for you at the end of the day," he simply replied with a smile. "Oh, you are a bad person. You don't play fair," I huffed as I pulled out my mini notepad. "Make me proud." And with that, he slightly shoved me in the direction of their table. I took a deep breath and started my way towards their table. The second I arrived, the owner of the dark blue eyes looked up at me, his face cold, unfriendly. I gulped as I felt my shyness take over, my face felt hot, and my mouth felt dry. I cleared my throat and opened my mouth. "Hello. My name is Annalena, and I will be your waitress this afternoon. May I, ask what you would like to drink?" I had to stop myself from closing my eyes and making a grimace at my stutter. "Aw, Jackson, come on, man. You're making the poor girl nervous," spoke a blonde man with a friendly smile. "Hi, sweetheart. I'm Stuart. I'll have an iced tea. This bald eagle over here," he said, pointing to a large, scary man. "We'll have a Corona. And this Ice King," he said, pointing to the dark-haired beauty, whose eyes have yet to leave my face, "will have a Seagram's escape." With a simple nod, I turned on my heels and left. I didn't breathe until I made it to the cashier, where Lisa met up with me and patted my back. "You okay there, baby girl?" she asked, and I slowly nodded after I got my breathing under control. "Hey, waitress," came a voice from across the cafe, and when I turned, it was the same blonde beckoning me over. I huffed and made my way to him, trying to fix a smile on my face. "I apologize, sweetheart. Remind me your name again, please," he said with a smile. "Annalena, or Anna for short," I answered, still trying to keep my nerves at ease. "Anna, pretty name." "I'm sorry, but it seems there was a mistake. Pretty boy here would like a coffee, no cream, no sugar, instead of the Seagrams," he explained, and I could feel his cold gaze on my face, but I refused to acknowledge him. With a simple nod, I turned and left. By the time their drinks were ready, I managed to build up enough courage to go back and deliver their drinks. Everything was going well. I placed the Corona for the bald eagle, I handed the friendly blonde his iced tea, then all I had to do was place the hot coffee in front of the Ice King. Easier said than done. My clumsy knee knocked onto his chair, and my already shaky hand spilled coffee all over his shirt. I gasped as his head snapped up to look at me, his eyes cold and angry, and I already knew. I screwed up big time. "Anas PNT of view," I gasped, and frantically reached for the napkin box on the table, as I tried to dry away the coffee that soiled his clothes. The stain grew larger, and the liquid was scalding hot on the napkin, yet the man hardly flinched. "I am so sorry. I'm sorry," I muttered, my hands shaking. His hand suddenly shot out, and grabbed onto my hand. He stood up, towering a good few feet above my height. Looking up at his deadly glare made me feel so inferior. My heart was racing, and my breathing felt limited. "Jackson, dude, just let it go, let her go," said Stuart. All smiles disappeared. The man, Jackson, kept his eyes on me, and he only said one thing. He turned me to face the door, then ordered walk. But my feet were frozen. "Gentlemen, is everything all right?" came Tony as he approached us carefully. I silently begged him with my eyes to help me out. "Nothing to see here, just mind your damn business," said Stuart, with a warning tone. "I'm sorry, but I can't allow you to harm one of my employees," said Tony as he took a step forward, but he was suddenly stopped in his tracks when the large bald man made a move to his waist, causing the handle of a gun to come into view. Tony cleared his throat and took a step back, realizing the seriousness of the situation. "Now," smiled Stuart. "Everyone please get back to your afternoon. We will be departing," said Stuart, as he began making his way towards the door. I was suddenly shoved by the bald man, and was forced to walk to the door. "And where do you think you're taking her?" spoke Lisa, as she stood in front of the door, between Stuart and I. "Sweetheart," sighed Stuart as he turned her around, "you're a pretty girl, and I really wouldn't want to do any permanent damage to such pretty face, so I suggest you go wait on a customer, and let us go about our day." His smile no longer friendly. "Sure, you gentlemen can step right out of that door, but you're not taking Anna with you," declared Lisa. I loved my best friend, but she was such an idiot sometimes. I mean, they had guns, for heaven's sake. It all happened so quick. Stuart's motions were so fluid, it wasn't until he had his arm wrapped around her neck, with her back to his chest and a knife to her throat, that I caught up to what happened. Now, honey, I really don't think you're in a position to make any choices here. It seems that the boss has made up his mind about how to deal with your friend, and we don't want any trouble, so be a good girl. And let us go in peace, cooed Stuart, as my eyes began to water. I made a move to free Lisa, but I was suddenly pulled back by an iron grip, then shoved out the door. The second we stepped out, a limo with dark-tinted windows pulled up. I was pushed inside none too kindly, and when I turned, Lisa was pushed into Tony's arms, as Stuart and the bald guy made their way out. "Lisa!" I yelled, as the bald guy closed the limo door. "Anna!" yelled Lisa, as she tried to get out of Tony's grip. The limo sped off, as Stuart and the bald guy followed closely behind in another car. I quickly turned from the window, aware of the dark figure that sat facing me. His eyes were gazing down at me, and I could feel my fear of him growing. "You owe me," he simply stated in a calm tone. "Oh, you what?" I asked, trying to calm myself. "This was a very expensive shirt," he explained casually as he began removing his vest. "But by the looks of it, I think you can afford another one." I stuttered out before I could catch myself. He narrowed his eyes at me, as if silently scolding me, but then smirked. "You're right, I can. But see, you still have to pay me back. I can't take pity on you just because of a shirt, or else my reputation could be tainted," he explained, as he began to unbutton his shirt. What are you doing? What do you want?" My stuttering voice spoke out as his delectable upper body came into view. "I want you to pay me back for what you did," he simply stated, as he fully removed his shirt, leaving him completely shirtless and vulnerable to the naked eye. He made a move towards me, and my blood ran cold. "No, not this. Not like this. I am not going to sleep with you," I declared faintly, as I noticed his eyes taking me in. He seemed taken aback by my outburst for a second, before he broke into laughter. The laugh sounded more teasing than amused as he said, "Oh, Angel, don't flatter yourself. You're not my type. Nevertheless, you're going to have to pay me back," he said, as he reached to a compartment next to me and pulled out another shirt. I sighed in relief as I placed some distance between us. "Okay, name your price and give me a time limit. I'll get your money," I said, trying to calm my stutter. $5,000, 3 months. He spoke, his tone flat and final, and my mouth ran dry. "What, you're kidding me, right? You're speaking as if I have that kind of money lying around," I exclaimed, my shyness turning to shock. "With the way I am living, there's no way I'd be able to get that kind of money. I am going to need more time." I tried to reason. "No, my job doesn't pay me enough for that." I tried to explain. "Then get another job," he said with a shrug. "In 3 months? Oh, like it's that easy." I sighed, my panic swallowing my stutter and shyness. "It could be," he simply stated, shrugging his shoulders. "What are you getting at?" I wondered suspiciously. "Well, you're in luck because I am in need of a secretary. 3 months, you work off your debt, then you're good to go." He said so casually. "You're crazy. This is ridiculous. All of this drama over a ruined shirt?" I began to go on a nervous rant. "It's either that, or I take you here and now," he said without a hint of teasing in his voice. "Take me where?" I asked, and he raised an eyebrow, and that's when it registered in my mind, "Oh no, definitely not. What do you want?" I said, exasperated and a bit afraid. "Either accept my deal or I F you here and now, and we can both move on with our lives." He stated all businesslike. "What about my job at Luigi's?" I asked, already considering his deal. "Quit," was all he ordered. I sighed, shaking my head and looking away. This was not happening to me. "All this over spilled coffee?" "I don't like to be waiting, hun. What is your choice?" He rushed. I sighed and shrugged, then I said, "Fine. When do I begin?"